Hi, everybody. This is the Baseball Head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, the Head, and welcome back to the Baseball Head 2. I hope you like this video. Hit that subscribe button. So we're going to talk about, again, the trade candidates and the free agents that have signed and been moved. And we're going to go through this list again. I like doing this list. I know you like watching it. As I do this video, there was a signing, actually a couple signings on Sunday. We'll get into those as we do this video. We start at the top. Shohei Ohtani. Where did Ohtani go? Well, it's funny you should ask. He went to the Dodgers. And a deal that was $700 million for 12 years. He deferred that money. There's a lot of deferred payments going on in Dodger land right now. And I can guarantee you that Hal Steinbrenner is not too happy about this deferment by one of the wealthiest teams in Major League Baseball. I know it's in the agreement, but that is not going to be in the next agreement. I can guarantee you that one, folks. When the owners and the players negotiate another contract, and this will be on the owner's side. I'm sure Hal Steinbrenner is having a shit fit tonight with this signing that they had of Teoscar Hernandez. So he went there. Juan Soto, that's the big trade of this offseason. He went to the Yankees in a trade for a bunch of middle relievers and a backup catcher. Yoshinobu Yamamoto jerked the Mets around and the Yankees around. The Yankees got to a point where they realized they were getting jerked around, and they said, oh, $300 million, that's enough. Enough for us. And the Mets offered the highest money, and they went to the Dodgers. Yamamoto's team went to the Dodgers and said, can you match it? And they said, yeah. And then that's what happened. And they matched it. He didn't go back to the Mets to match it again. Cody Bellinger. Got a few teams on him. I don't know where he's going. This guy he might not sign until next month. We know Scott Boras is his agent. I don't know where he's going to sign, but I've heard the Cubs, the Giants, Boston, the Angels, the Blue Jays, the Phillies, and Seattle. Aaron Nola, the right-handed pitcher from the Phillies, he stayed in Philadelphia. Corbin Burns. I've not heard him getting moved. I was reading today in a video on Sunday that Corbin Burns is not getting moved, but there'll be plenty of teams in on him. The Phillies, the Cardinals, maybe the Cardinals, will see their division rival. The Diamondbacks, the Yankees would be interested. The Dodgers, well, maybe not so much the Dodgers now. Texas, the Padres, Angels, San Fran, and Baltimore. He will be a free agent after this year. I would assume that the New York Mets will be talking about him next offseason, considering that he's a former Cy Young Award winner and the fact that he's been a good pitcher, and he pitched for Mets President of Baseball Operations, David Stearns. Willie Adames. I've not heard him being traded, but several teams would be in on him. The Dodgers, Tampa Bay, possibly the Braves, the Giants, and Miami. The Giants do not have a shortstop, by the way. It seems like Brandon Crawford, I guess, retired. Blake Snell. The Mercurial one. The Phillies, the Cubs, the Rangers, the Cardinals, San Francisco, the Angels, Boston, San Diego, and he's begging to sign with the Yankees. It's more like he's trying to get the Yankees in on his market. Jordan Montgomery. I've heard the Rangers primarily, but there were the Cardinals, the Yankees, and Boston. Matt Chapman. So many big free agents are still out there. It's amazing. All these big free agents. Really, there's a couple of big guys. The biggest one, I think, is Josh Hader, is the biggest free agent out there right now, in my view. But Matt Chapman is out there. The Dodgers, I'm hearing, the Blue Jays, the Yankees, the Giants, the Cubs, Detroit, and Seattle. I think he'll either go to Detroit or the Giants. As you know, his former manager Bob Melvin's in San Francisco now. Sonny Gray signed with the Cardinals. Eduardo Rodriguez signed with the Diamondbacks. Josh Hader is out there. He's looking to get Edwin Diaz money. I'm surprised he hasn't signed with anybody. The Phillies, I would think, be in on him. Arizona, they need a closer. Do not draw Paul Sewald. How many games did he blow in the World Series? He pitched the type. The Rangers, I've heard. The Dodgers, believe it or not. And the Yankees. I put the Yankees there. I haven't heard them with the Yankees. But the Yankees should very seriously consider signing him to a contract. They don't have a closer. If you think Cole Hamels is a closer, you're crazy. Marcus Stroman. I'm going to put a new name on this list. We got Houston, Arizona Diamondbacks, the Cubs going back there, Kansas City, the Angels, and he's begging to pitch for the Yankees. That's what we've heard. Shota Amanaga, the lefty Japanese pitcher that's been posted, he has until the 11th to sign with a team, and he goes back to the Bay Stars. But we here in Boston, San Francisco, the Padres, the Mets, the Yankees, the Cubs, and the Dodgers. There are 5 suitors involved, according to MLB Insider, which is an account I follow on Twitter, which has gotten a lot of the Dodgers news right. He is saying that the Dodgers are the front runners, but I also read from Japanese reports that the Giants are one of the finalists for that, along with the Dodgers. Jameer Candelario signed with the Reds. Jung-Ho Lee, the Korean star, signed with the Giants. They had a big move in the offseason. But they're looking to make, they made that move for Robbie Ray, who will be coming back from Tommy John surgery this year. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. signed an extension with the Diamondbacks. Mitch Garver signed with the Mariners. Lucas Giolito signed a 2-year deal with the Red Sox. Kevin Kiermaier went back to the Blue Jays. Jorge Soler is still a free agent, I'm hearing. And I've heard the Giants, Seattle, the Mets, the Angels, Boston, Cleveland, and Toronto. Rice Hoskins, Miami, Seattle, San Diego, Cubs, Milwaukee, Washington, and the Angels. Teoscar Hernandez signed a 1-year deal with the Dodgers for $23.5 million for 1 year. He has gotten deferments starting in 2030. So the Dodgers are only going to have to pay $8.5 million this year. So the other $15 million will be deferred over the next from 2030 to 2039. Outrageous. Like I said, Hal Steinbrenner will be having a big shit fit when the owners get back together. Harrison Bader, which I didn't pay much attention to, which I probably should have, signed with the New York Mets on a 1-year deal. He'll be the primary center fielder with the Mets. JD Martinez, Miami, Seattle, San Francisco, and the Angels. He's been closely connected to the Mets of recent note over the last 2 weeks. Justin Turner, speaking of Martinez, Miami, Seattle, Arizona, LA Angels, and he's been linked to the Mets as well prior to, I guess, to the new year. Michael Wacha signed with the Royals. Kyle Gibson signed with the Cardinals. Jack Flaherty signed with the Tigers. Yuki Matsui, the Japanese reliever, he signed with the Padres on a 5-year deal. The belief is that Brandon Belt will retire. Adam Duvall, there were 3 teams in on him. I would think that maybe 2 now that Harrison Bader signed with the Mets. Miami and the Minnesota Twins. Jordan Hicks, very quiet market. Philadelphia, San Francisco, Arizona, and Yankees. This is from about a month ago. Yariel Rodriguez. I heard that he's had a lot of suitors for him, but I've heard Houston, Toronto, the Yankees, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati. Toronto being the favorites right now. Michael A. Taylor. I've heard Boston, Toronto, and Cincinnati. Or maybe Toronto is out since they signed Kevin Kiermaier to that extension. I know there's another team attached to Taylor. I'll have that update at some point. Tommy Pham. I've heard the Angels, the Yankees, and Milwaukee. Luis Severino. He signed with the Mets. Ahmed Rosario. San Francisco, Miami, the White Sox, Oakland, Tampa Bay, Toronto, and Boston. Ahmed Rosario can play everywhere. He can play second base for you, a little bit at shortstop, center field. Tim Anderson, going back to the White Sox, even though they declined his contract. Oakland, San Francisco, Miami, and Tampa. Jonathan India, who's been mentioned in trade talks about a month ago, like crazy. I've heard Seattle, Boston, and San Francisco. Brandon Woodruff, who was non-tendered by the Brewers. Huge market for him. Go through it. San Diego, St. Louis, Texas, the Cubs, Boston, Tampa Bay, the White Sox, the Angels, Seattle, the Yankees, the Diamondbacks, the Phillies, the Atlanta Braves, San Francisco, San Diego, and the New York Mets. New York Mets have an interesting take because obviously we have the former general manager with the Mets now, David Stern. So keep an eye on the Mets with him. They'll sign him, I would think. Or any team would sign to a 2-year deal. Get him for like maybe a month or 2 of this year. And then have him be a regular contributor in 2025. Tyler Glasnow went to the Dodgers and signed a 5-year extension. Crazy. Dylan Cease. We've heard the Braves, Boston, Baltimore, the Yankees, Cincinnati, and a recent note, the Mets. The Mets will be hard-pressed to make a trade for him right now. He's got, I guess, another year on his contract before he's a free agent. But the Mets are not really willing to move any of their prospects right now. Shane Bieber. I've heard Cincinnati, the Cubs, Baltimore, the Dodgers, and recent note, the Yankees. Bo Bichette. I've heard the Cubs, the only team I heard. Alex Bregman, not going to get moved, but I've heard the Yankees. He's not going to get traded to the Yankees. So obviously the Astros and the Yankees hate each other. And the Toronto Blue Jays. I don't think he's going to get moved. Gio Urshela. I've heard the Yankees, the Mets, and the Blue Jays. The Mets should go after him, put him at third for 1 year. Paul Blackburn. I've heard him not get moved, but teams connected to him are the Mets, Houston, Pittsburgh, and Atlanta. Logan Gilbert. Tampa Bay. Randy Arozarena. Seattle, San Diego, and Miami. Emmanuel Clase. After the Dodgers had signed Yamamoto, the word was that Clase was going to get moved to the Dodgers, Texas, and the Phillies. Jake Cronenworth. I've heard Detroit and the Mets. I don't think the Mets will do that. Jorge Polanco. I've heard San Francisco, Toronto, and Seattle. These are all rumors, by the way. Max Kepler, Seattle, Toronto, the Phillies. Christopher Morel, the Guardians, the Red Sox, and the Miami Marlins. Ha-Sung Kim, infielder for the San Diego Padres. San Francisco, the Red Sox, and the Cleveland Guardians. Christian Yelich, believe it or not, could be out there to be moved. I don't think he'll be moved. He's got too big of a contract still. Toronto, the Phillies, and the Seattle Mariners. Jesus Luzardo. We have the Giants, the Baltimore Orioles, the Reds, and recent note, the New York Yankees. Framber Valdez, who I don't think will be moved. But I've heard the Cubs, the Reds, and the Giants. The Reds have been prominent in a lot of these big players, particularly these aces, because they obviously have a good young nucleus. They need an ace for the top of their pitching staff. Kenley Jansen. I've heard the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Rangers. I don't think the Mets are, even though I wrote it down here. The Arizona Diamondbacks and the New York Yankees. Trevor Story. I've not heard any teams attached to him. I know they want to get rid of his contract, at least a good portion of it. Trevor Bauer. Not much of a market. I've heard rumors about the Red Sox and the Angels. He should go to a small market where they don't care about baseball. He was here in New York, but the Mets and the Yankees don't seem to have any interest in him, in my opinion, from what I saw. Robbie Ray, the Giants. He got traded to the Giants. Masataka Yoshida. Seems like the Red Sox are going to move him. We'll see where he gets moved to. He could have a very interesting market because the belief is that he'll have a very good second year having adjusted to Major League Baseball. And he had a very good second half, I guess. Sean Manaea, this is the final name. I did not have him on my list. I probably should have. He had quite a few teams on him. I don't have that list, but he did sign with the Mets for 2 years, $28 million. He has a club, a player option to leave after this season. Now, the Mets have 40 men on their roster. They will have to DFA somebody or make a move like a trade or some other signing and just move pieces out of here. So when Manaea is announced, they'll have to announce a corresponding move to him. Well, you let me know what you think about this video. Of course, please hit that, smash that subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.